It wasn't that long ago that a virus most of us had never even heard of just exploded across the Americas, and it sparked a full-blown global health emergency. But the real story of Zika, it isn't just about mosquitoes. It's about a really devastating secret that took the entire world completely by surprise. So let's really dig into what happened.
And right there, that's the central question, isn't it? For most people who got it, Zika was described as mild and self-limiting. So why the worldwide panic? What was the piece of the puzzle that we were all missing? Okay, so just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, take a look at this map from 2016. It really tells the story. The virus spread like wildfire all through South and Central America, the Caribbean, and it even started transmitting locally right here in the continental US. This thing was a massive, fast-moving outbreak. All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, we first need to get to know the virus itself, and of course, its primary partner in crime. So Zika is part of this, notorious family of viruses called flaviviruses. This puts it in the same club as some other names you might recognize, like dengue, West Nile, and yellow fever. Now, that family connection gives us some clues about how it might behave. But as you're about to see, Zika has its own really nasty secrets. Okay, so here they are, the two main players in this whole story. On the left, you've got the culprit, the Zika virus itself. And on the right, its main accomplice, the female Aedes aegypti mosquito. She's the one that carries the virus from person to person with her bite. But here's where things get a lot more complicated. See, while mosquito bites are absolutely the #1 way it spreads, it's not the only way. Zika can also spread through sexual contact. It can pass from a pregnant mother to her fetus, and it can even spread through things like blood transfusions or organ transplants. This makes controlling it, it makes it much, much harder than just dealing with mosquitoes. And this right here, this brings us to the very heart of the mystery. To understand the panic, you have to realize that Zika isn't just one disease. It's almost like two completely different diseases with wildly different results. Get this. This is the first and by far the most common face of Zika. For a whopping 80%, that's 4 out of every 5 people who get infected, there are 0 symptoms. None at all. They never even realize they have it. The virus just comes and goes, totally silently. And for that other 1 in 5 people who do get sick, the symptoms are usually pretty mild and they don't stick around for long. You might get a rash, a bit of a fever, maybe some achy joints or a headache. Most people feel better within about a week. It's often not even as bad as its cousin, dengue. Now, because those symptoms sound a lot like other things mosquitoes can give you, like dengue or chikungunya, it can be really tough for doctors to know what's what. But there was one little clue that doctors started to pick up on: conjunctivitis, or what most of us just call red, irritated eyes. It's way more common with Zika than with the others. And then there's the other face of Zika, the one that terrified the entire world. Scientists discovered that the virus could cross the placenta from a pregnant mother to her developing baby. And when it does that, the consequences are just absolutely catastrophic. I mean, the numbers coming out were just horrifying. During the big outbreak in Brazil, health officials started noticing this huge spike in babies being born with serious birth defects. And later research confirmed it. In areas hit hard by Zika, the rate of these defects was an unbelievable 30 times higher than normal. And this tragic set of birth defects, it got a name: congenital Zika syndrome. It can include microcephaly, where a baby's head and brain are abnormally small, but also severe brain damage, vision problems, and major issues with their joints and muscles. This was the devastating secret the virus had been hiding. So you've got to be asking, right? How did this virus, which had been lurking around for decades, suddenly become this massive global crisis? Well, let's trace its journey across the globe. Okay, so Zika was actually first found way back in 1947 in monkeys in Uganda. And for 60 years, it pretty much just caused small scattered cases here and there. Then, in 2007, the first really big outbreak hit an island in Micronesia. But the game truly changed in 2015 when it landed in Brazil. It was the perfect storm. You had huge cities, the right kind of mosquito everywhere, and a population with absolutely no immunity. It didn't just spread, it exploded. Okay, so that brings us to the big question, probably the most important one. What can we actually do about it? Because in the fight against Zika, prevention is literally everything. And this is really important to get. Right now, there is no vaccine to prevent Zika, and there's no specific medicine to cure it. If you get sick, all doctors can really do is provide what's called supportive care. That just means rest, lots of fluids, and maybe something for the pain or fever while your body fights it off. So, what does that mean? It means prevention is our only real weapon. And it really boils down to 3 key things. First, do everything you possibly can to avoid getting bitten by mosquitoes. Second, get rid of any standing water around your home. That's where they lay their eggs. And third, because it can be sexually transmitted, you have to practice safe sex, especially if you or your partner have been anywhere near a Zika-affected area. And for anyone who's thinking about starting a family, this guidance is super specific and really important. The CDC says women should wait at least 8 weeks after they might have been exposed before trying to get pregnant. And check this out. For men, the recommendation is way longer, at least 6 months. That's because the virus can actually hang around in semen for a really, really long time. So yeah, the big headlines have faded. The official global health emergency was declared over. But the mosquitoes are still here, and the virus is still quietly circulating in many parts of the world. Zika taught us an incredibly hard lesson about how a virus that seems mild on the surface can hide a truly devastating secret. And it really leaves us with this huge, lingering question. Are we actually prepared for the next time it or another virus just like it